Action packed in 180 minutes. Power Breakfast with Tessa weekdays 6 to 9 a.m.
On the line with us this morning, we are trying to get hold of Margaret Arnolds, the MMC for Finance in the city of Joburg. As residents of Joburg, I don't know that we pay as much attention to the finance speech that comes out of our own city. But of course, there are quite big matters at play there. The city has been known in the last few years to have issues with underspending. So even though we have major issues, we haven't always had the bang for our buck, as it were. So really important to find out from the MMC if we are now going to be able to get as much wrung out of this budget as possible. But of course, still a few interesting issues around the surcharges and what residents are having to pay as well. Margaret Arnold, the MMC for Finance for the City of Joburg, is with us this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, MMC.
Thank you so much for having me, and good morning to all your listeners.
Good morning. Thank you so much. What are some of the highlights in the budget that was presented?
The budget was presented, and the budget made a lot of impact on our major service delivery, key service deliveries, like the electrification of informal settlements, talking to Orange Farm, Kaya Sand, Diepsloot, the inner city revitalization, the conversion of hijacked buildings into student and affordable housing. We know that Joburg is not just home to us that were born here, but it's also home to students that come in. It is also home to people that come to work. And, that has stress on our infrastructure, be it housing, be it water, be it electricity. And we've looked at the the key high priority areas, which is electricity, water, sanitation, as well as roads. We are pumping in a lot of our money into fixing our roads. When you wake up in the morning, the three things that you get into contact with when you go to work, you get up, you get into the bath, you want to have warm water, you get to the kitchen, you want to put the kettle on and make some tea. You get into your car, you drive to work, you don't want to get into potholes, you don't want to get into a road without stops, without robots, and these are the things where we're investing in. We are also investing in assisting with the disaster management, where we are able to avoid flash floods. They damage, especially when you go to the Protea Glen area. We are also looking at backing township businesses. There are issues like the Grow My Business, the Joburg market reform, public-private investment, our state city development. And this is not something that we crafted in a boardroom, but this is something that was informed by the IDP. So those are the good takeaways for our residents.
Well, and it is good to hear that there is such a strong focus on the infrastructure for the basic services that we need, like water and roads. But the question will be, will the money be spent, MMC? I know that the city has, in the last few years, sent back some grants to National Treasury. We've seen entities like City Water or Joburg Water telling us that they're not getting as much money as they need in order to roll out the kinds of infrastructure plans that they have. So they're saying that they're getting, that the city is collecting more from water but not passing that on to them adequately for them to roll out the services. What is the plan for implementation and ensuring that this money actually gets used in the right ways, particularly around infrastructure?
I would like to think that this time around, it's not just about writing a speech on a glossy cover, or it's about us giving the money and not holding anybody accountable for where the money is going to. Entities must spend their grants. Entities knows that when we are working on the infrastructure and we are fixing the infrastructure and we are looking at the leaks and the losses and fixing that, that they should also be bringing in money so that they are able to give the service delivery. Remember, water and electricity is, you can call it our cash cows that brings in money, and they are supposed to be bringing in the money so that they are able to maintain themselves, so that we are able to keep the city afloat and we are able to give services to the people. So what we are doing is, and that's why the emphasis is on the high priorities to fix all this infrastructure so that they are able to make money. We don't want to just patch, and then tomorrow we have a major pipe burst. We are investing into our, ensuring that all our towers for water and our electricity infrastructure is fixed. So there should not be a question of them not being able to give the services, and there should not be a question that money should be going back. They should actually be making more money.
MMC, what happens in the event that they don't? What gives you comfort that this round will be different? Are there checks and balances in place? Because one of my bugbears about the way the city of Joburg is structured is this outsourcing of service delivery to the entities, and there being these various layers of accountability that sometimes make accountability harder rather than easier. So what gets put in place to make sure that if an entity of the city, we've seen the Joburg Property Company, for example, go under extreme fire and not real consequences meted out against those who are running the entities. So if Joburg Water doesn't perform and it doesn't fix the leaks, what happens from the side of the city? What does accountability look like?
I think the operative word that you've used there is consequences. We are now going to deal with consequence management. We are now going to deal with you if you are not doing what you are supposed to do. From an official to a councillor, we need to make examples, and we need to deal with it. We are going to make some very unpopular decisions this time to ensure that the city works. It's not really outsourcing to our entities, but it is they are part of the metro trading reforms that there is now. In actual fact, as far as National Treasury is concerned, we are the only city that really does not have to go out to outsource, because we do have our entities that's doing the work on our behalf. Sure. And I can tell you, consequence management will be in place. We will be dealing with those. Some of us don't want to leave a legacy behind that we have left the city crippled, but we want to be part of a legacy that says the city works. It is a city that everybody wants, not a city that Margaret on her own wants, but a city that the people want, a city that the people are able to say, I'm proud to be part of Johannesburg.
All right. MMC, just before I let you go, there is this matter of the cash cows, as you called them, revenue collection. And the people of the city of Johannesburg have been complaining about having to pay surcharges on electricity. Those surcharges have remained in place, and we're actually looking at increases in the kind of service charges we're paying for services like electricity. The residents of Yeovil went to the city and spoke to the speaker, for example, to ask what recourse there is to fight back against these, especially in a time where load reduction still continues, especially in a time where we're still seeing inadequate service provision. Is there any chance of having these surcharges removed at some point, and have the revenue collection mechanisms that have been in place before that just continue to operate?
I know which surcharge you are talking about. You are talking about the 200 Rand. The 200 Rand surcharge is not unique to the city of Johannesburg. It is something that all of us in all the metros are doing, and some of the cities is much higher than what we are. We had to implement the surcharge in 2016, and we did not implement it. And in 2020, we then said we will not implement it because of the fact that there was, what was the sickness, COVID, that was there, and we did not implement it because we did not want to burden our people. This time around, we kept it as we have implemented it, we've kept it and we are not pushing
Sure.
it up. As far as the billing is concerned, yes, there is a problem. Let's not shy away from it. There is a problem, but we are looking at a smart billing system rollout to fix inefficiencies and leaking. We are looking at how we are able to fix the billing system so that our people pay, because this is what people have said to
Sure.
us in the IDPs. I am not happy with what I'm paying. We are 3 people in the house, and I cannot be paying 2 to 3 to 4,000 rand. And that is what we want to fix,
Sure.
because we don't want to have our people bending backwards and saying to them, you have to pay, you have to do this. But we are saying to them, if you believe that you are using 1,000 rand, pay the 1,000 rand, come into the office, come into the city and talk to the city so that the city is able to fix. But I want to say to your residents that the smart meters will be rolled out, and please do not stop our people. Only when you think they are not the real ones, then you
Sure.
can. There is an advert that's going
Yeah.
out that says who the people are, what number you can contact, so that you are having the right people on your premises, and this will help all of us. We want to have a city that we all want, and not a city that is broken. We want a world-class African city.
I guess MMC, just off the back of we're talking about an 84 billion rand budget here, and about 25 billion is coming from the surcharges. I think people are just feeling a bit aggrieved that they feel like they're being taxed on different levels after the VAT tax issue this year. Surely, I hope that there's a conversation to be had going forward about this. But thank you so much for giving us those updates from the MMC of Finance in the city of Joburg, Margaret Arnolds.